Hello, everyone. Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for a new Netflix film called Trigger Warning. This is rated mature since it is a Netflix release with a runtime of an hour and 46 minutes. As of the recording of this video, we have a Rotten Tomatoes score of 24% for the critics, which we didn't even have when I put my notes together this morning after watching the film. We didn't even have enough critics rate it to get a rating. And we also have an audience score of 19%, which has dropped in the past 6 hours from 21% from the audience. Uh, we don't even have a Letterboxd average rating yet because, as of the recording of this video, under 1,000 people have logged this into their Letterboxd, uh, which is insane. This is very telling of like maybe the quality or what to expect from the film. I feel like Letterboxd movies, even at its worst movies, like they still get logged in, and people just go out and watch them. But the fact that people are not watching this, it's very telling for what I'm about to review. But let me give you a quick a rundown of this film. In this film, a skilled special forces commando takes ownership of her father's bar after he suddenly dies. Soon finds herself at odds with a violent gang running rampant in her hometown. This is directed by Mola Surya, and it stars Jessica Alba as Parker, Mark Webber as Jesse, Anthony Michael Hall as Senator Swan, Tone Bell as Spider, what a cool name, and Jake Weary as Elvis. Three of the people I mentioned are related in this film, which is wild. Um, it's all set in the town of Creation, Texas, which is a whole other thing. I'm not going to go into spoilers for this. I don't think there's a need to. And look, obviously, I want you to watch the rest of the video, but this is not a good film. I don't recommend it. So if you want to stick around for the rest of the review, you've been warned, trigger warned, I guess. In the crowded landscape of action cinema, this film arrives with the promise of thrills and maybe an interesting story, but unfortunately, it delivers on neither. Instead, it kind of settles into a formulaic rut, failing to elevate or even try anything beyond like offering a viewing experience that can just be described as tedious and kind of boring. From the outset, it is clear that this film does not aim to bring anything new to the table. It just embraces the generic approach to the action genre, uh, recycling some old tropes and not even trying some of the tropes that are already like well established. Not even trying to inject any new energy or perspective. I think the lack of motivation might have been forgivable if other aspects of the film had been, done well. But even that, this film stumbles in that regard. I think across the board, the performances are just kind of wooden, with the cast appearing more like they're just there as opposed to really inhabiting the characters. And of course, this just kind of leads to no emotional weight. It's supposed to be a revenge-driven narrative that kind of falls flat. The portrayal just lacks intensity and depth needed to make any audience care about the plight that's going on here. And this just results in a disconnect that makes an already sluggish pace of the film feel a little bit more lethargic. Now, look, I grew up in the early 2000s. I watched Dark Angel. Of course, I'm going to check out something that Jessica Alba's in. Unfortunately, this was a itself with along with the story just a convoluted mess. It entangles itself in unnecessary plots and twists that really do nothing to advance the narrative. Instead of a clear, compelling revenge arc, we're just kind of subjected to a weird puzzle and a plot that's confusing rather than intriguing. And this is just an overcomplication. Like it doesn't. I feel like it doesn't even need to happen. It just sort of dilutes even some of the key moments that might have an impact, leaving them devoid of any emotion or any resonance that they could carry throughout the film. This film even falls short of adhering to some of the basic tropes. If they had just done something like Death Wish, but with Jessica Alba doing everything, that might have been entertaining. But no, this film just chooses not to engage in any of that stuff. So it is unfortunate. There's no build up of stakes. There's no like suspense build up. It's just kind of a series of actions that happen to follow each other, along with just lingering shots of Jessica Alba drinking or smoking or kind of hanging out. For the first hour of this film, it is just very, very tedious and boring. And then it finally starts to ramp up a little bit with for the last 40 minutes or so. But even then, like, the fighting is just nothing that we've seen so much better in what I would call smaller films even. So that, yeah, it's just very lackluster, unfortunately. And the thing that really gets me is that the boring part of it. That's the part that really just offends me the most, I guess. It's unfortunate. There's really very little way to engage with this film, and by the time the plot kind of picked up, I was already kind of a little bit checked out, making it difficult to really recover. Even the ending, it doesn't. I feel like they want to set up maybe like another film like this, and I don't think it's going to happen. So, it's unfortunately a disappointment in the action genre. It's a generic approach. It's a very generic film with lackluster performances and just an overcomplicated story. So I hate to say this, but I don't recommend this film. I think there are better options out there, especially this weekend. If you're out there and you're going to go out to the theaters, you can go check out The Bike Riders, which we also have a review for in the channel. Or just go back and watch something, rewatch a classic. I just recently rewatched Unstoppable with Denzel Washington and Chris Pine. That might be even more of a, it might be more worth your time to do something like that. So, all right. Before I keep ragging on this film, which I really hate to do, let me know what you thought about this film if you've seen it. If you enjoyed it, I'm really glad. I just really it just never connected with me. So, which you guys know how much I hate being negative with these reviews, but sometimes it happens. So, as always, thank you for watching, though, especially after a movie like this. So stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff in the channel. Bye bye.